Why your ancestors stopped laying eggs. You're holding a baby right now, or maybe you did last week, or you remember someone else doing it. 9 months of carrying, then a birth, then months of feeding from your own body. It's exhausting, it's dangerous, and you've never once questioned why it works this way. Now, rewind 200 million years. Same basic mammal body plan, same warm blood, but no womb doing any of this work yet. A small, shrew-like creature is squatting over a soft-shelled egg, laying it, and walking away to keep it warm from a distance, the same way a lizard would. So here's the actual question. If egg-laying worked for reptiles and birds for hundreds of millions of years, and still works for 2 mammals alive today, why did almost every other mammal on Earth abandon it? The answer starts with something that sounds obvious until you actually think about it. Temperature. You're warm-blooded. Constant internal temperature, roughly 37 degrees Celsius, regardless of what's happening outside. A reptile laying an egg can leave it in the sun and let the environment do the incubating. A bird sits on its clutch for weeks, using its own body heat, but it can't do much else while it sits there. A 2008 study on avian incubation behavior, published in the Journal of Avian Biology, found that ground-nesting birds lose significant body condition during incubation, specifically because they're stuck immobile, unable to forage properly, for the entire incubation period. Mammals solved this differently. Instead of sitting on the egg from outside, carry it inside. Constant temperature, guaranteed, with zero need to stay still. But here's what doesn't make sense until you think about it. If internal incubation solves the temperature problem so cleanly, why do 2 mammals alive today still lay eggs at all? The platypus and the echidna, together called monotremes, split off from the rest of the mammal lineage somewhere around 180 million years ago, and they never got the memo. They still lay soft, leathery eggs. A platypus egg gets incubated for about 10 days, curled against the mother's body in a burrow. And when it hatches, the tiny hatchling does something no reptile or bird baby does. It drinks milk, secreted directly through patches of skin, because monotremes don't even have proper nipples yet, evolutionarily speaking. That detail matters more than it sounds like it should. Researchers studying monotreme genetics, including work published in Nature in 2008, sequencing the platypus genome, found monotremes carry a strange mixture of reptilian and mammalian traits, egg-laying alongside lactation, because they branched off before live birth had fully evolved, but after milk production already had. You're looking at a snapshot of the actual transition still walking around Australia today. So live birth wasn't a single clean upgrade. It was a slow renovation, and the platypus is what the house looked like halfway through construction. Here's the part nobody talks about. An egg is a closed system. Whatever nutrients get packed into the yolk before the shell forms is the entire budget for that embryo. Full stop. No adjustments once it's sealed. A reptile embryo makes do with exactly what it was given at the start. A placenta is the opposite. It's a live, adjustable supply line. Researchers studying mammalian placental evolution have traced the structure back to a common ancestor with marsupials roughly 160 million years ago. And the placenta does something an eggshell fundamentally cannot. It responds in real time. More nutrients needed, more nutrients delivered. A developing brain that needs to keep growing for months past what a yolk sac could ever fund gets exactly that. This is why live-bearing mammals, especially primates, can afford embryos with dramatically longer, more resource-hungry development than any egg-laying animal manages. The yolk was a fixed budget. The placenta is a line of credit. Here's what nobody tells you about that trade, though. Live birth didn't just solve nutrition. It solved a second problem that has nothing to do with feeding an embryo at all: mobility. An egg sitting in a nest is a stationary target. It can't run from a predator, and neither can the parent guarding it, not without abandoning it. Carry the embryo inside instead, and the parent keeps every option available: fight, flee, hunt, hide, all while the pregnancy continues completely unaffected by any of it. For a mid-sized mammal in a world full of things trying to eat it, that flexibility was worth an enormous amount. A stalking predator, a wildfire, a flash flood, none of it requires abandoning the next generation, because the next generation is already moving with you. Before we go further, an honest caveat. This isn't a story where evolution handed out a completely free upgrade. Live birth comes with a serious cost of its own, and you already know it firsthand. Pregnancy is metabolically expensive, physically dangerous, and limits how many offspring a mother can carry at once, often just one or a handful, compared to a bird that might lay a dozen eggs in a single clutch and lose most of them without ending its own reproductive life in the process. An egg-laying parent risks the eggs. A live-bearing parent risks herself directly every single time. Researchers studying reproductive strategy trade-offs generally frame this as risk distribution rather than simple superiority. Egg layers spread risk across many cheap, replaceable offspring. Live bearers concentrate enormous investment into very few, expensive, closely protected offspring. Neither strategy is objectively better. Each one wins under different pressures, and mammals specifically kept trading toward fewer, better-resourced offspring as brains and gestation periods got longer and more expensive to run. So, the next time someone treats live birth like an automatic evolutionary triumph over egg-laying, you can give them the more accurate version. It wasn't an upgrade. It was a trade, made slowly, over roughly 150 million years, one piece at a time, and there are still 2 mammals alive right now, quietly laying eggs in Australian burrows who never finished making it. You are not broken. You're the result of a renovation your ancestors never stopped working on.